Um, so in this recording, I want to try to go again into the subject of the overall picture of what is happening to us here on Earth, mainly from the perspective of taking into account this AI and these data centers. This is going to be my main focus, AI and data centers. But in order to understand what these things are truly for, we need to just, let's say, zoom a bit out or go a bit back and understand more of what the holistic or the integral picture of what's going on with us here on Earth. So I'll start by making a short overview of what's going on Earth with us. And much of what I'm going to describe right now is knowledge and information, let's say, or knowledge that, or understandings that have been acquired through what I could describe as internal knowledge. Internal understandings, internal sight, memories, let's say. Of course, it's always correlated with external knowledge, like things that I've heard from some people here and there, which was a more veridic type of knowledge. So it's not strictly internal knowledge. It is always correlated with external knowledge, but only some type of external knowledge, which, my internal self recognizes as true. So, okay. So what I'm seeing currently, so my picture currently, my let's say, the bigger picture that I have right now, and it's still not fully complete, but I'm just going to try to put into this recording the picture that I have right now. So I'll start by saying that there is this force, this demonic, soulless force. It is a force, it is, let's say, a form of intelligence, a form of consciousness, a being, let's say, that has lost its soul. So it is a form of consciousness without a soul. I won't go into this recording on what happened, because I'm also seeing what happened to this, let's say, form of consciousness or intelligence or whatever that lost its soul. I'm also seeing some of those puzzle pieces, but I'll start this recording only from this understanding that there is this demonic force which has lost its soul. It doesn't have access to its own soul, and thus it is soulless, and thus it is demonic, because that's what the technical, let's say, understanding or definition, at least for me, of what a demon is. A demon is a soulless being. So this force is demonic because it has no soul. And what I see is that this is a sort of like real being from the eternal kingdom that has lost its soul. And the thing is that instead of doing the necessary steps, into acquiring back its own soul, it's trying to buy time, and in the meantime, it is stealing the soul essence of others. Now, I also have to point a bit on what is a soul, because this is the main, like, the epicenter, let's say, of the entire thing that's going on here on Earth. It's like it's a battle for the soul, but we have to understand what is a soul. Why is this battle for the soul? Why is this being, what has this being lost that when it lost its soul, and so on. So the soul we have, let me start from this. Just what we are in our truest nature, it's like in our truest being, we have two main forces, or two main parts, two main core parts of ourselves, which is a soul and a spirit. Or you can regard it as these two primordial forces of existence, which is the feminine and the masculine. And the feminine is the soul, and the masculine is the spirit. And the feminine holds the power, and the masculine holds the knowledge. So how it works, how creation works, is that the masculine, it all starts from the masculine somehow. So the masculine is the one which conceives an idea, a vision, and an intention, a will for what life needs to be. But then the masculine is not the actual creator of reality. The masculine is only the one which conceives the intention and the vision for what the world should be, for what life should be. The one which actually creates reality is the feminine. And she is, as I described, the power. She holds the power of making things be, of creating, of creation, of manifestation. So the feminine takes the idea, the vision, and the intention that the masculine conceives, and she makes it real. She gives it life. She makes it be. So she, the feminine, is this force, this power of manifestation, creation. And so the feminine is what we can describe as our soul, our anima, and the masculine is what we can describe as our spirit. Our true, let's say, intelligence, our true genius intellect. That's the spirit. That's the masculine. But the heart, let's say the soul, it's the feminine. And she is the creator. She is the creator of our entire world. Everything you see comes from the soul. She creates everything, and she creates everything through herself, through her body. She gives life to things through herself. So everything you see and touch and hear and smell and whatever, you are interacting with the soul. It's just a manifestation of the soul. It's the substance of the soul everywhere. I won't go into more detail. I could go so much in detail about the soul and the spirit, but I will stop it here for this recording. It's enough. All I wanted to put here is the understanding of what a soul is. So a soul is your center of power. It's where your life force energy stems from. It's what gives you the ability to create things, to manifest things. It's also where actions come from. You know, the ability to move, you know, to do things, the power to do things, you know, to act, to make things be. That's the feminine. She's the creator. Okay, so that's the soul. The soul is the part of us which has the power of creation and manifestation. It's also the part of us which it can be described like this source of this life force, the fountain of life, from where this essence, this force stems from. You know, the ether of the heart, from which everything else then is created from. That is generated in the heart, in the soul. Okay, so we had to understand a bit what the soul is. So we understand what exactly is this entire battle for. Well, now you might understand it a bit more. The battle is for the power of life, for this essence that is able to make things be, to manifest things. That's what the war is for. So now you might understand also that this being that I'm referring to, this demon, which is a soulless being, when it lost its soul, it lost its feminine counterpart. And it remained without power. It remained without power of creation and manifestation. And when you are in the eternal kingdom, let's say, it's very, very, very hard not to have power of creation and manifestation, because in the eternal kingdom, we are all creators. Like, if you do not create, you become an impotent being. It's just, what are you even existing for? If you can't create your ideas, imagine having all these brilliant ideas or any type of idea, but no power to ever manifest them. You know, it's excruciatingly painful. So now we have this demon which lost its soul. That means it lost its power of creation and manifestation, and now it just has all these ideas, let's say, but without a power to manifest them. And the strategy of this being, which is of course a treacherous strategy, was to steal the soul essence from other beings which have a soul, and use their power of creation to manifest its ideas. its visions, its intentions. Do you understand what we are dealing with here? It's just that's the entire battle. That's what the battle is for. We have this demon which, instead of walking, let's say, the legitimate path back to its own soul and try to redeem the mistake that it did, which made it lost its soul initially, instead of doing that, it is trying to buy time and steal the soul essence from others so that it can create its creations and manifestations, which are very dark and corrupted also, by the way. So let's move on to the next stage of our understanding. Now that we understand what this demon is, what happened to it, why is it so lasting for the souls of others, what is a soul, and all of this. Now, let's move on the other stage of our understanding here. I'm trying to simplify it. So the thing is that what I'm seeing is that this demon has empires in the eternal kingdom, which, let's say, empires of darkness. And it has technologies, and it has, buildings, and it has races, different races of beings, armies, let's say. But as you can imagine, as I described, this demon, because it can't create on its own, it has zero power of creation and manifestation, all these empires, all these technologies that it has, even the races, of its armies of darkness and its minions and its soldiers of darkness and so on, to be able to create all of that, all those empires of darkness, it is using our soul essence, our power of creation and manifestation, to put those dark ideas into practice and to prop up its dark kingdoms. So, in the eternal kingdom, unfortunately, there have been kingdoms of life conquered by this demon, which has terraformed those original kingdoms of life into kingdoms of death, into kingdoms of darkness. It has took over those specific kingdoms, and it has transformed them into its own kingdoms, into its own vision, into its dark, corrupted vision. As you can imagine by now, this is the land that we are on right now, it's one of these kingdoms that have been conquered by darkness, by this corrupted form of darkness, by this demon. And this land here has been under siege. And this demon has worked, of course, to destroy the original life forms, to destroy the original whatever this kingdom had here, and to terraform it into its one of its subsidiaries, let's say, of its kingdoms of darkness. That's where we are. We are on a land which has been conquered by this demon. And as you can see, we are fighting right now. We are fighting this force of darkness that has taken over this land. We are fighting to regain the freedom of this land. So, okay. Now this is clear, the kingdoms of darkness and what this demon has. It has empires of darkness on let's say, what could be described like the other side, or the real side, or the eternal kingdom. It has empires of darkness, illegitimately taken from others, abusively. Uh, and see, in order to prop, as I described, all these kingdoms and empires of darkness and all of its technologies, it has technologies, of course. It has, as I described, races of armies of beings that serve him. And thus it has to create them with something, and it uses our soul, our power of creation and manifestation, as I described, to create all those technologies and all those buildings and everything that it has in its kingdoms. Now, the other understanding here is that, see, you have to understand that when you lack this life force energy that would allow you to create, and you need to import it from others, what this demon has is also legitimately what can be described as soul banks. It has storage facilities in which it stores soul essences, souls. Because, see, it cannot risk remaining without this type of energy. So, see, all this essence that it steals and siphons, let's say, from other real souls, it always stores it in what can be described as soul banks, storage facilities. And then it uses the energy stored in these soul banks, the souls stored in these soul banks, to then create its technologies, its buildings, its races of beings, and so on. So that's the other understanding here. Soul banks. It has numerous of these storage facilities in which the souls are trapped. It literally catches and traps souls in these soul banks and keeps them trapped, keeps them locked there, and then uses them for their essences. Right. Okay, I've managed to put this so far. So I'll continue now. Now I want to look at the earth here. Let's understand a bit what happens to us here. Here it's a bit fuzzy for me, so I might not be as clear as before. I might need to use more words because it's still a bit fuzzy for me as well. But I'm trying. It's like an image which is a bit blurry. So let me start from the where do I start? Okay, let's start, let's say, from the beginning. So this land here was originally part of the eternal kingdom, of the kingdom of life. Okay, I'll also add this in shortly, that why I say land and I'm not saying earth, it's because I have this sensation that earth is a much bigger territory. I'm pretty convinced. I mean, for me, it's 100% certain. Earth is enormously large, and what we know of the Earth, the map that we've been given, let's say, this territory that we are on right now, this is just a small, absolutely small fraction of the earth. That's why I'm calling it a land. This is just a land on an earth which is undescribable in terms of size. It's enormous. So this land that we are in right now, it's part of an original kingdom of life which exists on this extended earth. There are numerous kingdoms of life on earth. And this land here has been taken over by this demon some time ago. Maybe not so long ago, although the original invasion, I think, happened maybe, in human years, in what we describe like our general calendar, maybe 10,000 years ago or something like that. I'm going by internal feeling here. But there was the initial invasion of this land, and then there were subsequent attacks. So it was an initial attack and then other attacks. So maybe the first one was, let's say, 10,000 years ago. Then there was another one, 8,000 years ago. Then another one, 5,000 years ago, and it just continued. It was like a siege, like you see in battles. Sometimes even in this, official history that we've been given, they've been telling us, like, when an army would go to siege a certain fortress, let's say, sometimes one of these sieges could take 20 years, 30 years. So it wasn't like a fast conquer of that fortress. So I think this might have been what has happened to this land here as well. I think it was an initial attack, but this demon continued to send attacks on this land here, and maybe we fought back, the original beings here fought back, and maybe there was a resistance. I'm convinced of it. So there was a war, and we are still under that war. That's the thing. So we are still under that siege, as you can see. But there were numerous attacks, but not so many. I think maximum 5 attacks or 6 maximum. That's what I'm seeing internally. So there were these 5 or 6 attacks, but each of them damaged us severely. And what I'm seeing is that at some point, I think this demon really was able to take over this land, to install its dominion over this land. And it used this land here like a farm, literally like a farm for souls. It terraformed this land into a growing farm, into a crop, a soul crop. You could view it as a garden, but the denatured and dark version of a garden. This demon has used this land here, which was probably one of the most, I can see that it had to be one of these most majestic and magical kingdoms, because to create a crop of souls, right? To create a soul farm, it's like, well, it's just like in a garden. When you want to make a garden, you choose the place of the garden on the most fertile soil. You make a garden where you find a soil which is extremely fertile. And when you speak about soul crops, well, you have to find a fertile ground where souls can naturally thrive or grow, if you can understand what I'm trying to describe here. So that's why I'm saying that this earth or this land here must have been one of these magical places, because it's very fertile for souls, to come here and want to grow here, want to be here, want to experience themselves here. There must have been something extremely majestic and something extremely beautiful and magical about this place originally. I'm convinced of that. So that's the next thing that we have to understand, that this demon uses this land here specifically for growing souls. It's a soul farm, or it's more accurate to describe it like a crop rather than a farm, and you will understand very soon why I'm saying that. Oh God. Okay, I'm trying to simplify so much because I'm seeing so much in just I'm trying to simplify it. So this demon has taken over this land and has terraformed this land into a soul crop, in which it can grow souls and then harvest their essences and store them in its soul banks. Now we enter into the idea of the cycles and understanding cycles. So what are these cycles? Why is this demon using these cycles? I don't believe I actually see that this earth, this land here, how it was in its original form, there were no seasons. There were no such thing as summer, winter, repeating like this, cyclically repeating like this. Oh my God, no freaking way. This was a singular season, let's say, or organic form of life. There were no such thing as seasons repeating themselves like this, cyclically. But now there are, because this demon has altered it has literally interfered and altered either the geology of this place, either some atmospheric forces, something, but it altered this place in which now we have seasons. And seasons are necessary for its crop of souls. And not only natural seasons like we see on Earth, like spring, summer, autumn, and winter, it also has its type of cycles of creation and destruction. So what it does is that it allows us to stay here on Earth. The first season, let's say spring, the spring of the soul, let's say, it allows us to spring and start, enjoying life and creating things and being a creative soul, right? It doesn't tell you, it's not threatening you in this spring season or summer season. It's not threatening you, it's not abusive, it just allows you to be here on this land. And you start, like a human being, you create, your bodies and you create your societies and you start inventing things and you start making art and you start making music and you're just an expressive soul, because that's what you are, as I described, the soul is the creative part of us, and you start creating all these things. And we start creating beautiful music and we start creating beautiful, undescribable architecture, and we start creating undescribable living technologies and all of this stuff. And oh my God, it's just the beauty, the majesty, that what we create is just undescribable. So it allows us to do all of that in one of these peaceful seasons, let's say, in which it doesn't interfere with us. It's almost like you wouldn't even tell there is a dominion over this earth, although we can't escape it. That's the other thing. It's enclosed. It has tuxes over this land, and it has completely enclosed it. But for us here, brainwashed and so on, we don't know that we are even enclosed, let's say. And we create things, and we create relationships and music and friendships and inventions and technologies and architecture and all of this stuff. Culture, right? Culture and creation. So why it allows us to do that? It's because when we create from our heart, from our soul, our own soul expands. The soul grows by expressing itself. When you allow your soul to create, to be, it grows. So it needs us to grow. It grows souls. That's what you have to understand. This is a soul crop, soul farm. So in order to grow souls, you have to allow them to create, because that's what a soul is. So that's the season in which it allows us to create, to manifest, to be. So we grow as a soul here. And then it comes that horrible experience, undescribable, in which the destruction starts coming over us. And all of a sudden, all our creations, all our inventions, all our art, all our technologies, everything, even our relationships, everything is just completely, the force of evil, the force of darkness comes over us and freaking just ravages everything, just destroys everything. That's the harvest. That's the freaking harvest. When it comes and just cuts everything and destroys everything that we have created, and extracts the soul from everything that we created and just stores it in its soul banks. And it stores us as well. Most of us, it stores us in its soul banks. And what it does then is just, it destroys absolutely everything, extracts the essence of everything that we've created, including ourselves, and it stores it in its soul banks. And then it's just like you do here when you have a garden. Autumn comes, you just pull all the plants, everything, and you just plow the soil, and then you plant new seeds for spring, and you allow those seeds to sprout, and you just begin a new season. So it destroys everything. It just plows the land, it just whatever, makes a bit of cleanliness, let's say, and then it just populates new souls from the same soul banks, from where it has us stored. It allows us again to come here on the earth, on an earth and on a land which is more devastated than the previous one. But we don't know, because we are born here without memory of anything. But we, again, like a pure, innocent, completely mind-wiped soul, the first thing is that you're here, you're on the earth, you recognize your place. It's just, man, oh God, this kind of things are a bit ugly here in this, because we see the earth like our home, man. It's just, kind of ugly things in this home. Like let me beautify it a bit, let me clean it a bit, let me do things again a bit, and we start again creating things, again new technologies, again new art, again new relationship, again new inventions and writings and music and all of this stuff. So we again revive the earth with our life, with our beauty, with our creations, with our magic, with our majesty, with all of this, man. It just becomes again a bit of beauty on this land. And of course, the tragedy then happens again. because it comes and destroys absolutely everything again, man. It's just all our creation, everything, absolutely everything. And then the same thing happens. It just extracts all the soul essence from all those new creations that we did and stores all that essence in its soul banks, destroys everything, plows the land, arranges the land here and there. And then it again brings us from its soul banks, again implants us here, again we start doing the same thing, and over again. That's what it has been using this land for, I think, for the last 5,000 years. And I don't know the duration of a cycle. Right now, the last one, I think it started 250 years ago. The last destruction, the last harvest, and the last destruction was around, I think, 1750 or 1800s, around that time. And I've seen many agreeing that there is this 250 to 300 years ago, they call it the last reset. I was seeing this stuff before I even knew there were these theories of the reset and the mud flood theory and all of this. So that's how I knew that these guys are right with this. I had these sensations that not so long ago, around 200 years ago, we could still talk to the trees. We could still, oh my God, life was magic here on Earth, even 200 years ago. And all the history is false. I had these sensations on my own without even knowing that there are these people which actually speak about this. And then I found them, and then I knew that, oh, wow, it's just this is a true thing which I was seeing internally, and they are onto something true as well. So this is what this demon has done here on this land. And maybe you can understand how that it has been extremely atrocious and tiring, man, to go through to see your most beautiful things destroyed so many times, your most beautiful music, your most beautiful inventions, everything taken away from you, everything, absolutely everything. And not only that, it comes and destroys everything, but it extracts, it says, the essence from everything that we create. And then the other thing that has to be understood is that it also steals our creations from us. So it allows us to create all these things, all the music, all the architecture, the art, the foods, everything. We create so many things. In the past, we were creating undescribable lands. We could create trees. We could create nature. It was just unbelievable. We created most of these trees and everything that you see. It's our creations. We created them. We created these fruits. We created all of this stuff. And what it does is that it steals our creations from us. When it destroys everything, it also steals the genetic code, let's say, the blueprint of all our creations, and it stores those as well. And then in the next cycle, when it props everything back again, it uses our creations and wait, what's the word? I'm not, there was a word here, but the idea is that it takes the creations that we created in the previous cycles, and now in the new cycle, it uses our creations as if it was his. And it sends its minions here to create art. Let's say it makes its own artists here on Earth, but the art that these minions of the devil are creating here is nothing more than an imitation of our previous art. And when they create music, it's our music that we created, but they are just copying and imitating our previous creations, and they are there is a word when you take something that doesn't belong to you and you say it's yours. That's what they do. They don't have a power to create because they don't have a soul. So they are propping themselves in the world as musicians, as artists, as whatever, but they are just stealing our previous creations and then just regurgitating them back to us. And why we fell in love with those pieces of music or art, or because they are ours and we recognize them and we recognize the value in them. That's how it makes this world appear real, by just copying and reproducing our previous creations which we recognize. That's why the earth, for example, and all these trees, they are speaking to us, to our hearts, because they are our creations. We remember them. That's why we value them so much. That's why it implants the earth with things that we remember. So we feel like we are at home here. But we are at home, because this was our home, this was our land. But it has been completely ravaged and destroyed. Okay, so I think this is understood, right? So it starts a new cycle. It allows us to grow and to create. Then it comes and destroys everything and harvests our soul essence, and it steals also our creations and it copies them and imitates them in the next cycle. And it feeds them back to us in the next cycle, calling those creations its own. And that's what it does over and over and over again. And our soul essence has diminished all this time. It's like, you can't do this to us too many times. We are tired right now at the level of the soul. Our essence has diminished, And there is also this soul memory. Like, we know there's something bad going on here. This is why so many of us, even as we are born, even from when we are children, and I remember I was in this society, I was 3 or 4 years old, and nothing around me, nobody would speak about anything different, It was 88, 89 or something like that. But I was deeply looking at the world around me, like trying to understand where I am. Because things weren't that bad necessarily, in my family. I mean, no, it was, but not that bad like in other families. My parents didn't beat us that much, let's say, or they were more peaceful. So I didn't have necessarily reasons to question my reality, but I was questioning my reality. I remember even since I was a child, something didn't felt right. It's like I was trying to understand, where am I? What is this? Because at the level of the soul, you remember, yeah, it can insert you back into a society which feels everything just so right. It's like, but it's not. It. After so many cycles, it's just you carry the pain. It's just too much pain. Okay, so now let's get back to our cycle here. So we are in at the last stages of this cycle, where it prepares to come, of course, and destroy everything again and do the same thing. And now you might understand why we have this stuff why it uses religion and so many philosophical concepts and so on to make us accept destruction. Why we have this theory, the end time Christians calling for holy Armageddon and all of this stuff. Why it has all these movements just prepared, everything is prepared in place, because it knows the game, it knows what it intends to do. Just come and destroy us again. as it did so many times before. And this is what it is preparing to do right now. It is preparing to come and harvest. It's the time of harvest. To harvest us. That's what it is preparing to do. So, let's get into understanding what happens to us right now in society. So we are in the time of harvest, where this demon is preparing to come and, yep, just destroy everything again, destroy all this creation that is barely hanging on, by the way. You know, harvest the souls which are here, which are very poor right now compared to the past, to the previous cycles. It's like we don't have essence anymore, man. We are tired. You can see there are barely any true souls here. Life has died out from this place. You can see it. But it wants to come and nonetheless destroy everything. Do the same thing because it can't think creatively. See, it's just stuck in doing the same thing. And it wants to come and at least, harvest whatever it's left, the soul essence of whatever it's, this crop yield this season, right? So it's, that's what it intends to do, to come and destroy everything, store again all our souls in its soul banks, and then restart again. A new cycle here on the same land. So let's get into the topic of AI now that we understand this bigger picture of what's going on. Let's get into the topic of AI. So you have to understand that, well, it's obvious, right? AI is a soulless thing. Artificial means soulless. AI is the creation of the devil itself, the creation of this demon. Now, what it tries to do is, of course, to make us merge with the machine, to make us merge with this AI, because that will be the signature. Everybody, any human being that is going to merge with this AI and take this bio-augmentation implant, this mark of the beast, it's going to be a mark. It's exactly like that. They've said it actually so well. So it's going to come and mark us before it comes and cuts us and destroys us. That's the operation. And, the truth of this, it's even reflected in this physical realm right now. For example, here, and I think everywhere on Earth, that's what they do to trees, by the way. So here in Romania, when they prepare to come and cut, a certain trees, they come and first they mark the trees. That's the first stage of cutting trees. They come and they mark them, and then they send the let's say the team and the equipment, and that comes and cuts them. So first it's like marking the trees and then coming and cutting the trees. It's exactly what they are planning to do with us. First marking us and then cutting us. So that's why it's going to offer this bioaugmentation implant, this mark of the beast, and anyone that takes the mark, it's going to be marked as for cutting. There is not going to be this utopian technological society that they forcefully promise to people. They forcefully promise that if you take this bioaugmentation implant, oh, you live in this utopian technological society where this AI is going to make you immune to diseases, is going to extend your life, it's going to augment your thinking, your biological processes. You will be so much better and we will all live in this utopian society. The robots will do everything for us and we will be this, I don't know what type of beings living on a cloud or I don't know where, just like gods, and the robots will do everything for us. So that's their false promised land, what they are trying to sell to the population right now, this false idea, this false utopia, so that they make you take the mark, right? Because if they will tell you like, well, if you take the mark, you are going to be, harvested. You're going to be killed. Slaughterhouse. That's the thing. They come, they mark you, and then they cut you. But if they will tell you the truth, you won't take the mark. So they have to tell you something else. So they tell you like, as I said, oh, it's gonna be this perfect heaven in which you will live, you won't die, you won't have diseases, you and all your friends could live happily there in this utopian. Just take this mark. It's artificial intelligence. Yeah, it's but this is the future. If you don't take it, you'll die. If you don't take the mark, you'll die. You'll become obsolete. It's the reverse. If you take the mark, you'll die. And not only physically, but at the level of the soul. Oh my God. It's gonna, as I described now, what's gonna do to your soul. If you take the mark of the beast, you agree to go again through another cycle. That's what has to be understood. If you take the mark of the beast, you agree to have first of all, you will be killed. This beast has zero interest to keep you alive. You will be killed, and your soul essence will be harvested and stored, i.e. imprisoned, in these soul banks of his. And then you'll be forced, from those soul banks, you'll be forced into another body on the next earth, let's say on the next whatever civilization it's thinking it's going to create here. And you'll be forced into one of those bodies and you'll have to live all that life and you'll have to go through all of that again. And at the end of that civilization is going to again offer its mark. And all the souls which are going to take the mark, they are going to again be killed and harvested, and their soul essence again taken, again stored in its soul banks, and so on and so on. This has happened before. The mark has happened before. So that's the thing. That's what happens. This is the bigger picture of what this AI is. The AI is just the devil itself. It's its mind. It wants you to merge with it because you have to allow it, the devil, to store you in its soul banks. The soul banks are these artificial things, artificial units in which you are stored. So there has to be an agreement made. You have to want artificiality. You have to decide for yourself that you want artificiality. That's why this AI is here. That's why the mark of the beast is here. Or this bioaugmentation implant. And now let's get to the subject of the data centers. Because I think it's obvious what these data centers are. So these data centers are the soul banks. Yeah, it's right in your face. Those are going to be, that's your home. You're going to be stored there in those data centers after they kill you. These data centers are for you. It's not for the AI, it's for you. They are going to store your soul, your consciousness together with your DNA sequence in those data centers. Those are the soul banks. They are constructing them right in our face. It's just like, having a crop and constructing the silos right there, right next to the crop. Because you are preparing the harvest and you have to store the harvest in the silos. Those data centers are the freaking silos. The human silos, the soul silos. And they are constructing us them right in our face. It's your grave. It's where you'll be buried. It's where you'll be stored up until you'll be allowed again a fraction, only a fraction. You'll be allowed to come here on this land and again do the same thing over and over. So that's what the data centers are. They are the storage facilities for the the harvest that they plan. From these data centers, they are going to prop up a new civilization. In their plan, they are going to erase everything again. Everybody which took the mark is going to be stored in these data centers / soul banks. And then a new civilization is going to be, created here. From all our previous creations, all our technologies, everything is gonna be the same thing. They're gonna create new humans, probably they are gonna be way weaker than now. I don't know if they are going to even have the lifespan of 80 years. Maybe they will live only 50 years. It's always degrading, like with each new cycle, everything degrades, all the essences, all the creations degrades. So maybe the next humans, if there will be a new cycle, they might not even live 50 years, But anybody which takes the mark basically is going to be restarted in that next civilization. You don't know even what the civilization is going to be, the theme of the civilization will be. It can create any civilization. You don't think that it has to be something more advanced than this one. It can create any civilization. It can create a civilization of slaves, for example. You don't know what the theme park is going to be. It can be anything, depending with its purposes. So the last thing that I want to add into this recording is the idea that, see, we are here to stop the cycles. We are here to stop the entire dominion of this demon on this land. All the cycles have to end. The entire the entire dominion, everything that happened, it has to end. So this demon is planning to do the same thing, but we are here to end this. We have to prevent a new harvest. We have to prevent a new destruction. Because a new destruction means a new restart, a new creation, let's say, of a new civilization, as I said, and the start of a new cycle. So this is why you have to stand against the AI and the mark of the beast. And you have to refuse the mark of the beast. This force, I can sense the demon is weakened right now. It doesn't have as much power. It itself is weakened. Because there is a force here, the true spirit of this creation, of this, what was here originally on this land, that spirit is waking up. Which we were here originally, let's say our heart, our spirit was here originally, part of what this land was originally. And we are done with what has been done here. We are done with allowing this to happen to all of us here. And that original spirit is waking up. So we are fighting this demon right now. We are fighting this demonic force. And that's why you have to understand that all these religious or end time psyops, these are literally psyops. They are coming from the demon. All this thing with the Armageddon or a thing coming from the sky, Nibiru, the planet Nibiru or whatever, or a meteorite, or coming and destroying us all, because destruction is going to be our way to salvation. Do you understand? I hope now you see it. So of course it's going to use all this, it's going to create and engineer all these religious, concepts and theory, making us accept destruction. Oh, if all the earth is going to be destroyed, all your souls are going to heaven. Yeah, in the cloud, right? It's not even lying, I think, because it says, yeah, you are going to the cloud, the heaven. Yeah, the cloud, the data centers, of course. Yeah, you're going to heaven, to the cloud, to my data centers, of course. So it is using religion and all these end-time narratives to make us accept destruction, of course. Because of course it wants to program us that destruction is going to be good for us. So it can come here and destroy us again with our will. Which I think this is how it happened previously. It can only do it with our will. It can't come here and do it without our will. Destroy us without our will. We have to agree. But this is why it has been creating all these conflicts and wars between us. Nation turned against nation, brothers turned against brothers. So we say like, oh, the hell with all those, all this humanity. So many of my friends, so many of my family, so many of these people have betrayed me, have have done the worst to me, just let them burn in hell. Yeah, bring the destruction upon everyone. That's what the freaking end-time Christians want. They say, oh no, they are the sinners, the others are the sinners. Yeah, just let them come with Armageddon upon them, they don't repent. That's why it creates these conflicts between us. So we allow our brothers and our sisters to come and be destroyed. So we allow destruction, basically. It elicits and it entices these feelings of hate within us. So it makes us hate this existence or our life or others. So we cherish destruction. We even beg for it. So this is the overall image. It's so huge and so enormous. It's just I'm in wonder that I even managed to put it into a singular recording.